Robert Sanchez can't afford to make any error in this game. The defense should be elite. We saw how Madrid were punished for those errors their defense made. They couldn't clear the ball away and they were penalized. We shouldn't allow PSG to have so much of the possession, and then we shouldn't concede so early. Arsenal conceded in the 40th minute, but Real Madrid conceded 2 goals before 10 minutes, and Inter Milan conceded 2 before halftime. You can't recover from that against this electric PSG side. Welcome guys to the channel. Welcome to this new video. My name is Wilbur. Today I'm going to be discussing some scenarios that Chelsea have to address if we are to come away with anything from the Club World Cup final on Sunday. Of course, I think the odds are against us. I've never predicted that Chelsea will lose a game, and I don't predict that we will lose either. But even if we lose, which can happen, I would want us to lose honorably, like 2-1, 1-0, not 5-0, my friend, like Inter, Atletico or Real Madrid did. So let's get into the discussion straight away. Number one, goalkeeper errors. Last season in the Premier League, Robert Sanchez made 5 errors that led directly to goals. No one came close to him, and he cannot afford to do any of that against this PSG side. The other thing we have to talk about is the defense errors. We saw Real Madrid, the goals that they conceded in the before halftime, the 3 goals, were all due to defensive errors. They couldn't clear the balls away. Of course, you don't undermine the PSG place by their front 3 and then the midfield, the 3 guys in the midfield, Fabian Ruiz, João Neves, and Vitinha, and then Dembele, Desiré, and Kvaratskhelia. They press a lot, and they could force you to make errors, and you don't want to do any of that. Real Madrid are not proud of what happened to them due to their defensive errors. Also, I think Robert Sanchez should attempt clearing the ball away rather than starting the ball. He's not good at that. At least for this game, I think we can keep that for the 38 games for the league. And then the other third scenario is our midfield. The midfield 3, the 3 midfielders, Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha, and João Neves, if they are facing Enzo Fernandez, Moses Caicedo, and normally Cole Palmer, who plays as a 10, it means Cole Palmer is going to be called upon to defend, which is not a good situation for us, because we need Cole Palmer to keep the PSG defense on alert. So Cole Palmer, personally, I think should play as a right winger to keep Nuno Mendes busy, but also we should use a much stronger player in that number 10 role. I personally think João Pedro can do that role better, and that will allow us to transition better, but also winning the balls in that midfield. Another option could be using one of our right backs, either Reece James or Gusto, most likely Reece James, in that midfield, and then allow Enzo Fernandez to go in front of the Caicedo-Reece James pair. That could also work, but that means either Liam Delap is not starting or whatever the manager chooses, but we need someone who can help Moses Caicedo in that midfield defensively, because we know Enzo Fernandez is not good at that. And then another battle we should win is one on the right. Kvaratskhelia, we know he has been really functional, and since arriving in January at PSG have looked way different. In the first leg, in the group stages of the Champions League, Arsenal defeated the PSG, of course, not very easily, but it wasn't a hard game. When Arsenal played PSG again with Kvaratskhelia, the situation is totally different. Initially, I think Bakora was playing there. Bakora is good, He can dribble, but he's not clinical in front of goal, and that's an advantage to Kvaratskhelia as ahead of him. So this James Omar Augusto should handle the Kvaratskhelia situation so well. And then on the left back, Cucurella versus Dezadre, that's another one to watch. Of course, Dezadre is younger, and maybe Cucurella can take advantage, but he's talented and is fast. And if Cucurella is going to be maybe given a role where he joins the midfield or goes up front to contribute like offensively, I think we might be in trouble. So we have to address that as well. I think also the other situation we need to talk about is the left back of the PSG side, that's Nuno Mendes. This guy, if it was a striker, it's only that defenders are not considered are not really rated that high when it comes to Ballon d'Or, but his performances have been really one to watch, especially in the crucial games. So we need to have a player who will keep him on alert. Neto can do that. Cole Palmer can do that. I don't know what the manager will go for, but whichever way, we need a winger who is going to keep Nuno Mendes busy, such that it doesn't link up with the midfield or even the final three. It could sometimes we find him on the edge of the box. We saw in the UEFA Nations League he was winning balls in the box, so you have to really keep him busy such that it doesn't link up with the midfield or even the attackers. And then also the right back, Achraf Hakimi, is been phenomenal in the Champions League where we watched him and also in this tournament. So using a player that will keep him checked such that it doesn't overlap so often will be an advantage to us. And this should be, I think, Pedro Neto, I personally think. So he should keep him checked in place, or if he happens to attack, he knows he will face the consequences, and that's what we need. Alternatively, if Cole Palmer is going to play as a 10 and Neto as a right wing, we should use João Pedro there. I know he's fast, he's strong, and yes, Achraf Hakimi will be checked. The other situation then up front, I think we should go Liam Delap. He's strong. We need to win those aerial duels because this PSG side might not be just be beaten during the normal play. We need to take advantage of the set pieces, the corners. If we get a free kick closer to the box like that, I think we should be really that straight to them. So Liam Delap should be the man to start this game. Alternatively, if João Pedro is playing as a 10 and we have Neto on the left wing and Cole Palmer on the right wing, that works. So if we have João Pedro up front in a situation where Cole Palmer is going to play as a 10 and Neto on the right, I think it doesn't add up. So in any way, we need both João Pedro and Liam Delap on this pitch, but the manager might want to go for balance and he maybe uses Reece James in the midfield, and then you have to go Neto on the left, Palmer on the right, and then João Pedro up front. So that might also work. What do you think of that approach? And then Colwill returns from suspension. He didn't play the semi-finals. He might partner, I think, with Trevor. Yeah, that might also work. Also, I think Chalobah easily can link up with the midfield if we are attacking, if we are going offensive, and we need to take the ball to PSG. We can't just afford to sit back and allow PSG to have the ball. We just can't recover from that. Arsenal couldn't recover from that. Inter couldn't afford to manage that. You saw how Real Madrid were dominated. We can't allow PSG to have so much of the ball, at least something like a 60% percentage possession should be enough. We should go strong and valid in our approach. The other situation we have to talk about is their goalkeeper. Donnarumma is the very best goalkeeper in the world at the moment. You can't deny that. So he's really good at stopping the ball. For us, we want to play from the back, but you see him going and punching those balls away. That's what a goalkeeper is meant for. Of course, playing from the back might help in the build-up. The goalkeepers we have at the moment, the goalkeeper we have is not that good, or not good at that at the moment. So we need to avoid that. Of course, there we talk about our transfers because we were linked with a good goalkeeper. Imagine if we had signed a good goalkeeper coming to this tournament. We would be better off because most of the positions, as you can look, PSG are slightly better, but we are good. We are good. You see, Mendes might be better, but Cucurella is good. Hakimi might be better, but this James or Gusto are good. You can't say that we should sell Gusto or James and Gant by Ashraf Hakimi. No, the players we have are good. Also in the defense, Colwill, Chaloba, Tozin, they are all good. We just need experience. That's where PSG beats us. For them, they have Marquinhos is 31. All our defenders are around 23, 24. They lack that leadership. Who is going to do that? Who is going to do the other? So had we gotten a goalkeeper before coming into this tournament and maybe an experienced defender, the story would have been slightly different. But we are also good. The way we are, good news. Moses Caicedo is training, and that gives us some hope going into the match. Noni Madueke might be playing his last game for the club. Yes, club agreement is already in place for 52 million pounds. We bought him for around 30. So if he still has about 4 years on his contract, and Arsenal buying him because he is good, he might not be the most efficient, but they know he is good, and he wasn't a player we had maybe forced out of the squad. No, he was still useful. So we have numbers in that position, but Arsenal should pay what we want, and good news, they will pay it. And I think why should players leave Chelsea? Of course, he wants to play more regularly. Of course, maybe in a more stable project. Plus, Arsenal at the moment are paying better wages than we are. So maybe Noni might go there and earn twice what he has been earning at Chelsea. And that's good news for him. And in the long run, I think we will regret some of these sales, but maybe they have to happen. Kepa already confirmed to Arsenal £5 million. Martinelli to Manchester City also is confirmed. Other departures too will happen. The likes of Christopher Nkunku are expected to leave. Nicholas Jackson looked checked. His position seems to be at a stake with João Pedro and Liam Delap signing, so he might also be one to leave the club. And that's where we are at the moment. Thank you for watching. See you soon.